Hi, this is a demo for the building a CI/CD pipeline project for the Udacity Cloud DevOps using Microsoft Azure program. This is a repo for the project which hosts a Python Flask web application which you can deploy in Azure Cloud Shell as well as in the Azure App Service as well. The goal of this project is to have commits to this GitHub repo automatically trigger code linting and testing for continuous integration using GitHub Actions and also automatically deploy the code using Azure pipelines to the Azure App Service. The project plan is in the form of a spreadsheet with broken down tasks that have been filled into um, this Trello board over here. And over here we have an architectural diagram showing how key components of the system work. We have the GitHub repo here, commits to which automatically trigger GitHub actions that lint and test the code as part of continuous integration. And Azure pipelines over here automatically tests, builds, and deploys the code to Azure App Services. The first step is to clone the repo, which I have already done over here. And I have CD'd into the working project directory and also activated my virtual environment. And then you can run this make all command from the which runs the recipes from the makefile, installs the requirements, lints the code, and also runs the test as well. I also started the web app locally in the Cloud Shell using the command python 3app.py, and you can see it's running on localhost port 5000. And you can also preview port 5000 over here to make sure that the app is running. And you can also see the logs for the application over here. And the application also contains predict API. So you can make calls to the API using with JSON payloads, and the API will return with the prediction over here. We can try that out in a separate Cloud Shell over here. So you can run the make prediction shell script, and you can see that the API returns with the prediction. The next step would be to create a GitHub Actions workflow, which has been enabled for this project. I can see we have these workflow runs, and you can actually view the workflow from this YAML file. You can see that the workflow is triggered on every push to the main branch and runs on Ubuntu image. Uses Python 3.8 and essentially runs the recipes from the makefile, make install, for installing the dependencies, linting the code, and testing the code. The next step would be to deploy the app to Azure App Service using the command az web app up right from the Cloud Shell. I've already deployed my web app over here, as you can see, and the URL is over here, so you can verify that the app is up and running. And similar to running the app locally, what you can do is you can also make sure that the API works correctly by executing this shell script, which sends the JSON payload to this website, and which should return with the prediction as shown in this image. Just taking a few moments for the app to load. Okay, so we have the app up and running, and you can see the scikit-learn prediction home over here. So let's make sure that the API is working as well. So what you can do is go ahead and skip the other shell script, which returns the prediction as well. You can also view the stream the app logs using this command azweb app log tail in your app name and the resource group. As you can see, this streams a log from our running web application over here. And if you actually make the call um, to the API, you should see that come up in the logs over here. So the next step is to use Azure pipelines for continuous delivery. And for that, you have to set up the Azure DevOps organizations. And from here, you can access your organization and which hosts your project. So I've set all this up, which can be followed from this tutorial over here. Um, so I've already set up my Azure DevOps org with my projects, and you can see that I also set up this pipeline for the CI/CD project, and you can see the pipeline script itself is this Azure Pipelines YAML file, which is similar to the GitHub Actions workflow where it is triggered on every push to the main branch. And you can see it has different stages, the build stage and the deploy stage. And each stage has a set of jobs, and each job has a series of steps, which is similar to the GitHub Actions workflow, running the recipes from the makefile, installing the dependencies, linting the code. And this step right here that deploys the web app to Azure app service using Python version 3.8. So to pull this all together, what we can do is um, run a end-to-end test to make sure that the commits that we make to this GitHub repo is automatically built and deployed using the pipeline to the app over here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and edit this application file. Just just modify the text over here to, let's see, let's add Azure pipelines to this text and commit the changes. So this automatically triggers the GitHub Actions for continuous integration. You can see that we have a new workflow run over here, and which is running the build, installing dependencies, which is linting the code now, and the build is successful. Now that should trigger a new pipeline run over here. And we already have the build stage completed as well, and it's actually deploying the web app. It's downloading the artifact and using the defined Python version to deploy the web app to Azure App Service. Once the deploy is successful, we should be able to see the updated app with the updated text over here. Just finalizing the deployment job, and the deployment has been completed. There you go. So the text has been updated, and so this demonstrates an end-to-end working example of a CI/CD pipeline.